Good afternoon. Welcome to the Center for Biomedical and Minority Health Research Community Engagement Core. We'd like to welcome you all to Turning the Tides, Preventive Measures in Childhood Obesity, our August seminar. And now a moment from the CEC.
Texas Southern University's Center for Biomedical and Minority Health Research Community Engagement Core is funded by the National Institute of Minority Health and Health Disparity Research Center for Minority Institutions program. The CEC works directly with communities to identify and address health-related concerns and reduce health disparities related to ethnic minorities. We provide health education and partnerships with healthcare systems, federally qualified health centers, community and faith-based organizations. For more information, visit us on social media at CEC Texas Southern U or give us a call at 713-313-1233 or send us an email at cbmhrcommunity@tsu.edu.
So again, we'd like to welcome everyone and thank you for joining. We do ask that you remain muted throughout the presentation because there will be a Q&A at the end of each presenter. And while they're speaking, you can also post your questions in the chat box. We will review them as we receive them and present them to the speakers. We do ask that all attendees please complete the Community Engagement Course survey in English or Spanish. The links will be provided in the chat box. And now a moment to thank all of our partners who help us to bring our monthly educational seminars together. First, we have Be Busy Wellness Center. It is a nonprofit, community-based health center receiving its medical designation as a FQHC as of 2013. So the organization's mission is to provide the highest quality of healthcare, addressing disparities among underserved communities without a regard for ability to pay. Services provided align with family planning to include also internal and family medicine, dental care, mental health care, women's wellness, and so much more. Thank you, Be Busy. Next, we'd like to thank the Houston, Texas YMCA for supporting us as well. And CUNY Homes, which is where we're hosting our hybrid session. So all of those who are at CUNY Homes, thank you for being here with us today. And we'd like to say thank you to the Houston Health Department, as well as DAWN, Diabetes Awareness and Wellness Network, who is bringing our live exercise and engagement activity for our seminar today. And now a moment from DAWN.
We all want to be healthy, to feel good and function better. Our health is the foundation of all our goals, dreams, and all that we value most. But too often, you don't realize just how important your health is until you lose it and when crisis hits. Then we're willing to do whatever it takes to gain our health back. Here at DAWN, the Diabetes Awareness and Wellness Network, we offer free programming and services to those diagnosed with and at risk for diabetes.
I come here, it's like I'm coming home. Well, they're very supportive, and if I have any concern, they will help me out with any concern. And that helps a lot, especially when you live by yourself. So it's been very helpful. Out there, if people need a lot of help, because there are people that have diabetes and they don't even know they have it. And that's why so many people are in a lot of trouble, health trouble. I learned how to eat right, put more attention to my health, and be more active also. Because when I came, I was like almost 300 pounds. So it's been hard, but it's been great because they're very supportive.
At Dawn, members enjoy a full one-stop shop for diabetes and wellness education. We provide lifestyle enhancement to improve disease management and quality of life. Active living, healthy eating, self-management, health connections, health coaching, and community engagement. Enrollment is free, so become a Dawn member today and take control of your future.
So thank you for watching our Dawn presentation. And so we are asking that once again, please complete the survey. The link is in the chat. The first 10 attendees to complete the survey will be eligible to receive a $10 gift card. So we ask that everyone take a few minutes, just a moment actually, to complete each survey and go ahead and send that back in to us. You can also text us if you'd like to receive a free Community Engagement Core gift by mail. Text TSU-CEC to 855-264-9031. And we'd like to also bring your attention to some upcoming CEC events. First, we have a focus group conversation Saturday, August 21st at 10 a.m. And this is held virtually via Zoom. If you're interested in talking about cholesterol issues for yourself or anyone in your family, consider joining us. You can earn up to $50 for participating. And also stay tuned for our upcoming seminar in September, focusing on prostate cancer. Together We Can, awareness, screening, and prevention for prostate cancer. So mark your calendars, September 22nd at noon, and consider joining us. We'd like to present our first speaker, Ms. Rebecca Matamoros. She has over 14 years of experience working with different populations, ranging from the elderly to children, to include newborns and adolescents. She's a Master of Science in Dietetics from Texas Woman's University and a Bachelor of Science in Nutrition from the University of Connecticut. She completed her dietetic internship at the Michael E. DeBakey VA Medical Center and is also a LEA Fellow graduate from Texas Children's Hospital. Her specialties include diabetes, vegan nutrition, adolescent health, pediatric nutrition, and ketogenic diet for seizure control in children. Ms. Matamoros will be speaking to us today about ways to prevent childhood obesity. So Ms. Matamoros, please feel free to go ahead and share your screen.
Hi, everybody. It's an honor to be here and be able to speak about something that I have a lot of passion about. So turning the tides and preventive measures in childhood obesity. I'm going to start talking by a little bit of definition first, and then we'll go a little bit into statistics, and then we'll go into how we can prevent it. And please feel free to ask any questions, put them in the chat, and I will answer at the end of my presentation. So first we have a definition of obesity, and most of us have heard of the BMI, and BMI is typically calculated by dividing a person's weight in kilograms by the square of their height in meters. For children and teens, BMI is actually age specific and sex specific, and is often referred as BMI for age. BMI levels among children and teens needs to be expressed relative to other children of the same age and sex. And I want to click on this link that I provided, and hopefully, let me see, and I'm going to, me see if I have to stop this share, and I'm going to share that screen now. Hold on. And once you click on this link, it takes you to calculate a child's or a teen's BMI. So I'm going to put an example of an 11-year-old, 5 months, a boy. The height is about 54 inches and weight is about 70 pounds. And we press calculate, and it tells us exactly, this calculator tells us exactly the BMI, and then it places them on a percentile, and then it tells us this child is of healthy weight. Let me go back to the presentation. Okay, and then from here you can see like underweight is less than 5th percentile. Healthy weight is from 5th percentile to 85th percentile. Overweight is 85th percentile to 95th percentile, and obesity is considered 95th percentile and greater. There are many different causes of childhood obesity. Sometimes it could be related to behavior, and sometimes it can be related to what's going on in our community. And so what are some things that are behavior? Eating a high calorie diet, low nutrient foods, things that we consider junk food, right? We don't like to give names to foods, so just something that might be considered more like a treat. Some medications might cause children to gain weight, things like steroids that sometimes are given for rheumatological diseases can cause them to gain weight. Sleep routines, meaning not sleeping enough. Even for adults, the lack of sleep can cause us to go for the unhealthy foods instead of the healthy foods when we're extremely tired. Lack of exercise. Also the community environment, like the foods and the drinks that are offered at things like schools and community centers, or having like things like Y or opportunities for physical activities. For example, during the pandemic, they took away the basketball hoops, so kids couldn't even play basketball during the pandemic. So their activity level decreased, and they also couldn't go to the park and play. And so that could be a cause. Also, things like affordability of health foods and peer and social groups and the marketing, the commercials that are constantly on the TV are things that are high in sugar or low nutrient foods. And this can help make kids want these foods more than wanting other foods. And what are the consequences of childhood obesity? Sometimes we tend to think, what can happen if a kid is a little bit bigger when they're a child? Does it really impact what happens when they're older? Well, it can. Sorry, a little bit bigger. It can. It could cause things like high blood pressure or high cholesterol, and which can lead to cardiovascular diseases. It increases the risk of impaired glucose tolerance, insulin resistance, diabetes. They could have breathing problems like asthma or even sleep apnea. They can have things like joint problems and musculoskeletal discomfort, or even fatty liver disease, gallstones, or reflux. One thing about like talking again about like insulin resistance, something that you can actually do is you can look for things in their folds, like your right here or in their neck, where you think that the child or that someone is dirty and it doesn't come out. That's actually called acanthosis nigricans, and that is a sign of insulin resistance. So if you see this, this is a time when you should talk to your physician or your pediatrician and see what you can do about that. Childhood obesity can also be related to things like psychological problems like anxiety and depression, lower self-esteem, lower self-reported quality of life, social problems like bullying or stigma. Children who have obesity are more likely to become adults with obesity. And so adult obesity is associated with things like heart disease and diabetes type 2 and cancer. So if a child is considered obese, their obesity and the CIS risk factors in adulthood are likely to be even more severe if they were of normal weight as a child. there's the prevalence of the childhood obesity in the United States. For children and adolescents aged 2 to 19 in the years 2017 and 2018, the prevalence of obesity was about 19.3%, and it affected about 14.4 million children and adolescents in the United States. Obesity prevalence was 13.4 among 2 to 5-year-olds, 20.3 among 6 to 11-year-olds, and 21.2 among 12 to 19-year-olds. The prevalence amongst Hispanic children was 25.6. Among non-Hispanic Black children was 24.2. Among non-Hispanic white children was 16.1. And among non-Hispanic Asian children was 8.7%. So now we talk about, how do we prevent it? How can we prevent this from happening? Well, prevention starts at a very young age. From the moment babies are born, you want to focus on this prevention and for healthy growth and development. And as a new mom, there is always a lot of stressors. So the easiest thing to do is always try to talk to your pediatrician about the feeding regimen and whatever's most comfortable for you, be it breast milk or be it formula. But you always want to start at a young age, because this will help them develop a good nutrition practice for the rest of their life. So kids, you want to not introduce any other food apart from formula or breast milk until they are 6 months old. This is when they are able to actually move their mouth and swallow correctly. And you can try at 6 months and see if they're able to do it. And if you see that they're not able to do it, then this is when you want to maybe wait a little bit more and then try again. But by the time your child is 2, he should be eating the same exact foods that the whole family eats. And you want them to be able to do that in order to develop the developmental milestones like drinking from a cup or even using a spoon. And remember that a child always imitates what they see. So which foods should we introduce to a child? There are things like fruits. And when the child is small, bananas, strawberries, pears, oranges, melons. These are just examples of things you can introduce. And if you have a high among your family, a lot of people having allergies, this is when you want to introduce foods really slowly. You want to try to introduce one food at a time and wait like about 3 days to see if you have a reaction, and then you can introduce something else. For example, I'll give you one of my examples. I have many allergies, and so when I was going to give to my child peaches, which I am allergic to, I first put it on their skin to see if they cause a reaction. And then I gave it to them. So you want to go slowly with foods that you think they might have a reaction to. But things like vegetables, carrots, peas, sweet potatoes, even cooked spinach, meats that are soft enough for them to be able to chew. Dairy, you want to make sure they're pasteurized, and cheeses that are pasteurized. And when it comes to drinks, formula or breast milk and water, okay? The water should be the other fluid that the babies get. These are the foods you want to avoid providing to your children. So honey, before the age of 12 months, you should avoid unpasteurized drinks like juices, milks, yogurts, or cheeses. Foods with added sugars. So you have to look at the label, and where it says carbohydrates, under carbohydrates, it says sugars, and then it says added sugars. You want to make sure that it says 0 there. Sugar sweetened drinks, you want to avoid those. Foods that are high in salt, like chips or pretzels. Cow's milk before the age of 12 months, you don't want to introduce that. Juice before 12 months old is not recommended. And if you were going to introduce juice after the 12 months mark, you want to try introducing it like half water, half juice. Why? Because half a cup of juice is like a whole apple. And so that is a whole serving of carbohydrate in half a cup. So give half a cup of juice, half a cup of water, you diluted it, and then your child is not getting used to that sweetness in the juice. Also caffeine. You want to avoid caffeine. So one of the easiest things that people can do is try to follow the plate method. And what does a plate method look for for a child? So here is, I have an image of a plate method where it has healthy protein, which could be egg or chicken or beef or fish. And then we have whole grains, which could be like pastas or bread, as long as they are whole grains. They're not like super processed white bread. And then vegetables, any type of vegetable that they like. Oils, you always want to have some sort of oil or either cheese on there, or even like avocado can help to add some oil, and some fruits on their plate, and the water and dairy as a drink. So adding vegetables and fruits to daily intake. You always want to try to add a fruit or a vegetable to the plate. But some children may not be used to that. They might not want it. They might not even want to try it. And that can be the tough part, right? If they don't want to try it. So you always just want to have it on their plate. If they always see it on their plate, they will want to eventually try it. And if they see you eating it, they might want to also try it. You also want to try to follow the learn it, love it, or like it method. What does this mean? On your child's plate, you want to have a food that they love. You want a food that they like. And you want a food that they're learning. You don't want to call it a food that they don't like. You never want to say you don't like that. You want to say, no, you're learning it to like it. That gives more positive reinforcement to kids instead of giving it a negative connotation to a food. It's a food that you're learning to like. So for example, your child loves pasta. They're like blueberries, you put blueberries, but they're learning to like broccoli. So you put a little bit of broccoli. Like I said, the first time they might just even look at it. They might not even look at it and move it apart. And then little bit by little bit, eventually they will try it. So how do we encourage my child to eat more fruits and vegetables, to increase that intake on the fruits and vegetables? Remember, children imitate what they see at home and what they see with their peers. So avoiding sweets and treats, you don't want to have them always available. If they're always available, they will always want to get them. Even for us, right? If I have ice cream always in my refrigerator, I am going to want that ice cream at the end of my meal. Why not? It's there. I see it. And it's something I like. So we want to have those treats not always there. Consider it a treat, something that we eat on the weekend, something that is not always part of their everyday. And if you avoid it, then they'll avoid it. You want to try to, like I said, you want to try to avoid telling them that it's a treat. And you don't want to give foods a name. You don't want to call foods bad foods or good foods. Like I said, you were trying to, like before we said, we want to call it you're learning it. This is not, you don't want to call it the junk food. This is just, this is the treat food. This is the food we eat as a treat. Don't call it, this is bad food for you. This is a good food for you. This is just the way we eat. And I always try to encourage people to think, don't think I'm on a diet. You don't want to think that. You want to think, this is the way I eat. This is the way I'm learning to eat. Because we didn't grow up knowing how to eat, right? We grew up learning how to eat. So right now we're learning. And as you do these changes in your home, your child will start imitating exactly what you're doing at home, and they'll start trying. If you're eating some sort of broccoli, they'll be like, oh, can I try that broccoli, Mom? And then they'll try it. Okay. And then remember, food is fuel. And this is for kids and for adults. Food is not your friend. Food is not your enemy. Food is fuel. So you are a Lamborghini and you want to give yourself the best gasoline available. And this is something that will also help your kids and help you think about it. Because sometimes we try to turn to food when we're sad, but it's not your food, your friend, right? It's your fuel. So try to remember it like that. It's my fuel. Find an activity that your child likes and encourage them to do it. So if your child likes to play a sport, go with them, go watch them, encourage them to join. Go with your child on walks or jogs or bike rides. Here in Houston, it's extremely hot. So we have to find a time when it's not that hot. And maybe in the afternoon, and thank God, right now, the sun is going down later, so we can go outside later and enjoy that little time, walk or jog or the bike with our kids. And if they play a sport, go watch them play. More girls than boys drop out of a sport statistically. And what they're saying now is that if a family member goes and watches them, it encourages them to continue to play that sport and grow up playing. So we want them to love sports and to practice sports. It not only like helps them stay active, it teaches them responsibility. It teaches them to manage their time. It teaches them to play on a team. It teaches them to play under pressure. So we want them to grow up loving sports. Remember that children imitate exactly what we do. So I showed you the plate method for children, and this is the plate method for adults. And how should we set up our plate, right? And we always want to make half of our plate or most of our plate vegetables. The other half, we want to split it in whole grains and some healthy protein and some fruits you want to put next to the vegetables. Like I said, you always want to have some sort of oil in there. Nothing that you want some fat in your plate. Why? Because fat creates satiety, which means we feel full. Because I don't want you being hungry. And then we go for those treats that we have available. So always having some sort of fat in there. So I can give you an example. What could it be? I could be having some grilled chicken with some brown rice or quinoa or farro. If you haven't tried farro, it has even more fiber than brown rice or even whole grain pasta. And why do we want more fiber? Because fiber also makes us feel full. And so that's a trick. We want to have more vegetables, more fat, more fiber in our whole grains in order to feel satisfied, not feel hungry. And then in the other half, I would put maybe a small salad, and then I would throw some blueberries in my salad, and then my dressing, and I would drink water, and then maybe go for a walk with my family. That would be a dinner, a good dinner. But most important, I want everybody to remember to never judge ourselves. It is already hard to be a parent, and everybody is trying to do their best. And like I said, we weren't born knowing how to eat. This is something that we tend to learn. So if we didn't learn at home, this is why we're trying to teach. And you can always ask someone like a pediatrician or a doctor, like what ideas. The CDC has great resources. I'm going to show you my resources at the end of here so you could go there. But I'm hoping that this helps you to start to make some changes in your family. And remember that habits take time to develop. It takes 3 days to develop a bad habit, 7 days to break a bad habit, and 21 days to develop a good habit. Like I said, these are my resources, the cdc.gov app and the Harvard education webpage is where I got the food plate for the children. Thank you again for your time, and let me know if you have any questions.
Ms. Rebecca, thank you so much for the information that you shared with us today. And so now we're going to open the floor. For Q&A. And so one of the first questions we have here, what are some alternatives for fruit juice the kids might like?
So you can buy, there's these juices that have like water in them. So they're like watered down, or you could just buy regular juices and water yourself down. So like half water, half juice. You can make them yourself, but like always, it's better to eat an apple than to drink your juice. And even for adults, I always say, I prefer you to eat the calories than to drink the calories. So try to like avoid them as much as possible, but try to like, if you want them, if they want to try it, half water, half juice.
Awesome, thank you. And I have a question. This has been really, really helpful for me because I'm also one of those people just trying to constantly improve my family's diet. And so one of the things I'm curious about is when children maybe have already developed bad habits. And when you try to make changes, the type of resistance I've heard, is I'm still hungry, or I'm not full. And so I heard you talk about the importance of including fiber because that can kind of help with that. But how do you gauge that? Because in my family, we never begrudge people food. And so it's just kind of a struggle there. What are your thoughts?
So like the fiber, it would help for them to be filled. But if they're hungry at the end, like are they like if they're teenagers, they're always going to be hungry. So the fat and the fiber helps them feel satisfied. But if they're still hungry at the end of the meal, if they're going to serve themselves vegetables, that's going to help. And I would do like the vegetables, the high fiber carb, and then if it's a lean protein, a little bit more protein. But if you have those treats that we were talking about available, they're going to want the treats. That's the whole, they're saying I'm still hungry because they want the ice cream that they know they're in the refrigerator. I'm still hungry because I want those chips that are in the. So if they're available, that's what they want. So they're holding the little bit of space in their stomach for those treats. That's what they're like. Kids are smart. So if they're not available, or if you say these are for the weekend where your aunt is coming to visit, and so they're like, okay, this is for the weekend. So they'll hold off for the weekend. But it's like, you don't want them ever to feel like they're on a diet. They're just learning how to eat and learning to try new foods. And no food is bad. No food is good. And so it's about having a healthy relationship with food. That also helps prevent obesity or even any eating disorder. Having a healthy relationship with food. There's no good foods. There's no bad foods. You always want to have those type of thoughts for the kids. I hope that helped.
Oh, it did very much. Just trying to help kind of think about some of the best ways to navigate that. And so thinking about, okay, are you waiting for a treat or are you really hungry? And so seeing what they're willing to accept.
Yeah,
that's helpful. So we have another question, and someone asks, what advice would you give for gluten-free options if my child is allergic? This came from Facebook.
So gluten-free, the bad thing about gluten-free is that it's very expensive, right? But nowadays, there are a lot of flours that we can buy. And I'd love, if they were like talking about baking, for example, I love making banana bread, and I always combine oat flour with almond flour because almond flour tends to like fall apart, but the oat flour makes it stay together. So I make that, and I don't add sugar because the bananas have enough sweetness in there. So that's an example. If you are talking about like fiber, the fiber can come from nuts. Nuts have fiber. So if you buy like tortillas that are made out of almond flour, they will have fiber. And and that's also the good thing about the gluten-free things available now, that they are expensive, but they're really come a long way from the beginning. Now they taste way better. And there's a lot of different recipes that you can try now that actually do work. And that's the good thing, because having allergies is already really hard for kids. And so you want them to be able to enjoy. I've made cakes that my kids have no idea that it's like sugar-free, gluten-free. They have no idea. But it's all about like trying out. So try out the oat flour, combining it with almond flour, like a cup of oat, a fourth or a half of almond. And that should work, a good cake base.
So thank you for that. So would it be fair to say, because it may be more expensive, but perhaps you don't have to use as much? Does it stretch a little longer?
Well, when you buy the flours, then it stretches a lot longer. But if you buy the product, like if you go ahead and you buy bread that's gluten-free or a sweet, a pound cake that's gluten-free or anything like that, that's going to be more expensive. All those products are more expensive.
Awesome, thank you. And we have one attendee in response to how you get kids to kind of try something new. Someone said they tell their kids one bite to be polite, to get them to try it.
That's a nice, yeah, to give it just at least try it. I do have a son that tends to smell everything before he puts it in his mouth. I'm like, if you're not going to like sushi if you do that.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. So I'm looking here and I don't see any more questions. So I think everybody's answered. So
thank you so much, Dr. Loud.
I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
You do the same. Bye-bye. All right. So next, we'd like to introduce our second speaker, Mr. Caleb Boote. He is a public health educator and a certified personal trainer for the Dawn Center, a community-based wellness program focused on educating individuals managing or preventing the type 2 diabetes. Caleb specializes in creating workout programs and provides personal training for individuals who are living with or at risk for type 2 diabetes. He teaches the group strength training class, Exerstart, which promotes functional fitness for seniors. So Mr. Boote, thank you so much for being here with us today and showing us some tips on how we can keep ourselves healthy. So I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Caleb Moutay. I am a fitness trainer here at Dawn. And today I'm going to show some exercise you can do at your home or even in your workspace. And they're very kid friendly too. There's a belief that with kids, they're not allowed to use heavy weights, but according to the physical activity guidelines of 2018, kids from ages 3 to 17, they're actually are encouraged to use physical activity and actually to strengthen up their bone density and also their muscles too as well. So, but I'm going to show you some exercises that you guys can do as well too, in case you can't find time to go to the gym. There's no excuse. And all you're going to need is just your a folding chair and weights. And if you don't have weights, we have water bottles too, as well too. And you can get a good workout with that. So let's go ahead and get started. If you guys have weights, be sure to use them. And I have my weights here. So let's get started. All right. So the first thing that we want to do is warm up our shoulders. So we're going to be using that a lot. So the first thing we're going to do is make 2 fists right in front of our chest. Keep the arms straight. And then slowly bring the hands out, far out as you can, and slowly bring it back. All right, so we're just going to do 10 reps. All right, so 2, 3, and this is really good for your rotator cuffs too, the back of the shoulders. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good, very good, very good. All right, so let's go ahead and strengthen up our thighs here. So the best exercise to do that with is your leg extensions and slow. And so all you want to do is just sit up straight, have both of your feet underneath your knees, and from here just raise up one knee, and you're just going to simply kick it out. All right, and slowly bring it back down to the floor. All right, so let's do 10 reps for each side. All right, so we're at 2, 3, 4, and just do a light tap on the floor when you go down. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good. So you should feel it right in your hip flexors, and also is very good for strengthening up your knees. All right, so let's go ahead and do the other side starting right now. All right, so let's kick out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good, very good. All right, so very important exercise to do, especially if you're doing any walking or you have any knee pain whatsoever. Leg extensions is the best way to go. All right, so now that we are warmed up in our upper and lower body, let's start off with our chest exercises. All right, so there are some points where some people can't do push-ups, and that's completely fine, because that's where the weights come in play. And so simply what we're going to do is a chest press. And what you do is basically we're going to lean back in our chair and pretty much look up at the ceiling. We have our weights right in front of our chest here. So just look up, slowly push up, make those weights touch and bring them right back down, all right? Make sure you breathe all throughout. We're doing 10 reps. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. And you want to stay at this tempo. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good. Relax, relax, relax. Oh, yes. Already feel the warmth. You know, it's very good. All right. So let's go ahead and work on our back. Very important that we work on our back. It helps with improve our posture. And it's very good for kids too, especially as they grow as well. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to have our feet together. And from here, we're gonna have our weights right by our legs here. We're gonna look down at our shoes. And from here, just think about raising your elbows up towards the ceiling and slowly bring it back down. All right, so we're doing 2 reps, okay? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, relax, relax. Oh, yes, yes, buddy. Very good stuff. All right, so the next exercise that we're going to do, we're going to work on the armpit muscles. All right, so this exercise is called an arm pullover exercise. And so the way we're going to do this, we're going to go back and place our feet together. Keep your arms straight, and I'm going to look down. If you see me, I'm looking down at the floor. I'm keeping my arms straight, and then from here, just think about bringing the weights back behind you and keep it straight down towards the floor. All right. So do that for both arms. All right. Let's get started. 1, and real slow. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, remember to breathe. 8, 9, and 10. All right, relax. Put the weights down. I know that felt good. Y'all doing a great job. All right, so we're going to work on our legs, and we have one more exercise after this. All right, so this is a very important exercise, especially if you're unable to squat or do any standing exercise. The next best thing to do is to do your leg press while you're sitting down. And so the way we do this, we're going to actually sit back in our chair. We're going to extend one leg out in front of us. The toe is going to be pointed upwards. And then from here, bring that knee past the hip. All right, so we're just going to go back and slowly bring that heel back down to the floor and then bring it up just like this. All right, 10 reps. 2, and real slow back down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Very good, very good. So you definitely feel that in the hip flexor. Very good. All right, so let's go ahead and switch sides. All right, one foot is going to stay flat on the floor. The other leg is going to be extended out. And so with this leg, we're going to bring that knee past the hip. Let's go ahead and do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, very good, very good. Yes, we're getting a good workout. All right, so our last exercise we're going to do, we're going to actually work on our shoulders one more time. And this is a very good exercise to do. Yeah, you can use your weights if you want. If not, just make 2 fists. And so what we're going to do, we're going to put our feet together. We're going to look down at our shoes, keep those arms straight. And so what you want to do is keep those arms straight, and we're just going to bring our hands out to the side, just like this, and slowly bring them back down behind your legs, just like this. Let's do 10 reps. All right, so that's 2, 3, go real slow as you do this. 4, slow back down. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, all right. Oh man, I know we feel great after that. So if anything, make sure if you decide to do this exercise, yeah, just try to incorporate into your everyday life. The whole point is to find exercise that you enjoy doing and sticking with it. And strength training, nothing shapes the body and strengthens up the body more so than strength training. So, but yeah, my name is Caleb. Thank you guys for participating, and I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day.
Caleb, thank you so much for that. I had no idea. I have no weights, and everything I did, you can feel it. That was really, really nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know about a lot of people. I spend a lot of time sitting in a chair in front of a computer. I imagine a lot of us do, considering the year that we just had. So yeah. This was very helpful, very helpful.
Oh yeah, I'm more than happy to help out. And that's the thing too, like people believe that you need a gym or need machines or heavy weights to get a good workout. And honestly, you know, if you're able to move your full body in its own, you can get a good workout. You know, it just for a lot of people, it's just knowing what forms, like how to do the correct form to get the most out of those exercises. But honestly, you can do it anywhere, whether you're at home, you're at work. You know, there's always a way to exercise for sure. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, okay, so I don't see any questions in the chat box, but if something comes up, we'll be sure to send it your way.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So as a reminder, if anything comes up for you all based on either of the speakers, please feel free to put it in the chat. You can also email us and we will do our very best to get that information back to you. So just once again, a reminder about some of the upcoming events with the CEC. We are having a focus group conversation on August 21st about cholesterol. We do ask that you join us and consider earning up to $50 to participate in that virtual conversation. Once again, if you haven't already, please complete the survey. The link is posted in the chat. There's an English version as well as a Spanish version. The first 10 attendees to complete the end of seminar survey will be eligible to receive a $10 e-gift card. So go ahead and get those surveys in so we can get you your gift card. And as a reminder, we do these monthly educational seminars every month on a different topic with different speakers. And so in September, we'll be focusing on prostate cancer. So please consider joining, bring your questions, and let our speaker give you some answers.